Hey guys, you can't see me right now. I'm walking around outside. It's like 3:30 in the morning. But I was thinking about something. I just got out of the shower. This video is for those that have researched and heard about the Mandela Effect. This video is not to inform you of the Mandela Effect, but merely my hypothesis, something I just came up with that could be an explanation for the Mandela Effect. I'll give you just a quick couple examples of what the Mandela Effect is. A huge part of the population of the world remembers Star Wars, the famous line, "Luke, I am your father." You can hear it in your head right now, can't you? It's iconic, but it's false. If you go back and watch the movie, and not just a new copy of the movie, if you have an old copy of the movie, go back and watch it. The line is, "No, I am your father." Another one, Forrest Gump. What's the famous line in that movie? "My mama always said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you'll get," right? Incorrect. Now, magically, that line has never been, is a box of chocolates. It was. Does that even sound right to you? Life was like a box of chocolates. To me, one that's very vivid is the Coca-Cola symbol. You know the tiled sign? The little swoosh? Looks like an S, but sideways. How many of you remember that being in between Coca-Cola? Now it's like a dot. Not even in the middle. Up toward the top, separating the two words. How is this possible? It's called the Mandela Effect because people remember Nelson Mandela dying in the 80s when he was captured. There's people that, I was too young back then, but I do vaguely remember hearing that he died back then. There's people that remember his funeral being on TV, his wife speaking about his death, riots being held in Africa. But he didn't die until 2013. So some theories is that CERN, with their Large Hadron Collider or whatever it's called, trying to find God particles and dark matter, they send a beam in a circle, one this way, one the other way, to collide, and when they explode, they're openly admitting that they're trying to discover other dimensions. So there's a possibility that two timelines, two different dimensions have overlapped. Because like I said, a large part of the population remember all of these things, and some don't. Berenstain Bears. I for a fact remember that it was STEIN when I was a kid. And now it's STAIN. Another major one, which I haven't been able to verify this other than pictures I've seen online. I remember when I was in school and we was learning about Hitler. Bad man, right? Well, everybody was talking about how dumb it was that he was trying to make a master race with blonde hair and blue eyes when he had brown eyes. So shouldn't he himself have been killed? It was dumb. Now, supposedly, there's color pictures. He's got light blue eyes. Supposedly always has. I don't know. I've been thinking about it nonstop for about a week now. And it just hit me in the shower. Dreams, okay? Sometimes we can have the most insane dream, and as soon as we wake up, we have a flashback of this dream, and we say, okay, there's no fucking way I'm going to forget this dream. So I'm going to tell so-and-so later. There's no way I'm going to forget it. An hour later, you're like, man, what was that dream? I believe that death is possibly the same. I do believe in the afterlife. That's, if you follow my channel or others on YouTube, there's proof that there is some sort of afterlife. And a lot of times, these voices that we are capturing act as if they don't know they're dead. How many times, if you are a researcher or you do Ghostbox, you do EVP, we've all heard a lot of the same things, right? Help me. Please help. But I bet there's another thing that you have heard that made you scratch your head and be like, man, they're very confused. It's happened to me at least a dozen times. They tell me, you are dead. You're dead. Is there a possibility of that? Here's my thought. Who's to say that there isn't 4 different dimensions, all of which are almost exactly the same? Slight differences, like logos for Coca-Cola, Nelson Mandela dying 30 years apart, Berenstain Bears. Who's to say that there's not more than that? But let's just say that I go to sleep tonight and I'm in a world where the Ninja Turtles are the Ninja Turtles. Okay? And they all have their bandanas, right? They're orange, purple. You know what I'm saying? They got their different color bandanas. But I wake up tomorrow and there was never an orange. It was always yellow. And I could swear up and down. That's the same kind of deal that's happened with these other things. Who's to say that the ones that remember things wrong, all of these different things, haven't died? And now we have woken up, just like from a dream, or like when we wake up in a dream and we could swear we're awake and we're in another dimension that is almost just like the one we just left. Same people, same relationships, just slight differences. I don't know. I mean, it could be. It's just as possible as CERN opening up another dimension and it's collided. It could be why there's a certain part of the population that don't remember any of these things the way that some of us do. They always remember the Coca-Cola sign being that way. They always remember, no, I am your father, instead of Luke, I am your father. So these people could have always been in this dimension. They haven't died yet. And they're going to eventually die and wake up in the dimension we just left. And then they'll be like, okay, this is weird. You know what I mean? Or there could be like 4 dimensions. 2 of them have life is like a box of chocolates. The other 2 have life was like a box of chocolates. You know what I mean? So they die in one, and they went to the other that was exactly the same. But we died and went to the one that was slightly different. That's why they're looking at us like we're crazy. Could be another reason why a lot of us that remember the things this way and are suffering from the Mandela Effect get crazy ITC responses now. It's like things have ramped up, things have gotten stronger. It's like the veil, the line, whatever you want to call it, between here and there is thinner. I don't know. There is something strange going on. I do know that some of these things could be we're remembering things the wrong way. But when you have, I'm talking about like 80% of people remembering something that didn't exist. Like there's people that remember movies, plots of movies that didn't exist, never existed. I was reading on Reddit, under the Mandela Effect subreddit, there's a large group of people that remember a movie in the 90s with Sinbad. Y'all probably remember who Sinbad is, right? Well, in the movie, he was a genie. And he was shitty at being a genie. Like, it was like a comedy. He wasn't worth a fuck at being a genie. Well, there's no trace of that movie now. It's like it never existed. And there's people that remember all the characters that were in it, the actors, the plot. How does that happen? Right now, the name of the movie is slipping my mind with the guy that they put the thing on his face because he's a killer and he's crazy, right? Hello, Clarice. You know what I'm talking about? I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of it because it's one of my favorites. Silence of the Lambs. How many of you remember that one? Where Clarice comes in talking to him in prison. He's standing in his cell. And he says, hello, Clarice. Now, I haven't done this research on my own. I'm going by multiple different videos. Some of these things, most of which I have researched. And I do see that they are different than I remember them. But supposedly, that line was never in this movie. Hello, Clarice. Never existed. How do we remember that wrong? Could it be that we have died and we're in another dimension now?